Low 70s, flowers vibrant, a delightful day, both in the Garden and on the Diamond here in Charlottesville, Virginia. The Hoos look to get their offense back in full bloom. The dial was turned down on UVA last night by Cal. It's a Bears bunch ready to break out in the final 2 weekends of ACC play as we say hello from Disharoon Park, Davenport Field, the site here in Charlottesville. Thanks so much for joining us on your Saturday afternoon. I'm Corey Spector. It's the middle game of a 3-game set in ACC play between Virginia and Cal. The Cavaliers entering today with a record of 32-17 overall. They have fallen to below 500 in the conference at 12-13. Meanwhile, the Bears, with their victory last night, 26-23, they've won 3 consecutive games, 9-16 in the ACC. Cal a winner last night, 7-4. The Bears holding the Cavaliers to just 2 hits across the final 7 innings. The 2 teams traded grand slams in the 2nd inning, but Cal just had enough offense to get the victory by 3 against the Hoos. Let's get you the batting order for the Bears under 9th-year head coach Mike New. He makes one small tweak. He's going to change his number 3 and number 4 hitters today. Hideki Prather, the junior catcher, will lead it off. Jet Kennedy, riding a 9-game hitting streak. The shortstop hits 2nd. Daniel Murillo, the first baseman, hits 3rd. Lawson Olmstead, the freshman DH, he hits cleanup. Carl Schmidt, the redshirt sophomore left fielder, hits 5th. Cade Campbell, the 3rd baseman, bats 6th. Brady Ericart, the freshman second baseman, hits 7th. In the 8th hole, it's Ethan Kadama, the center fielder, and Gannon Snyder will round out the batting order for the Bears. He plays in right. Bears going up against John Payon, the right-hander, a freshman for the Hoos. Payon makes his 13th start on the season, an ERA of 5.57, and the first pitch is absolutely hammered to center field, but Gracia is underneath it and puts it away for the first out of the ball game. Prather, who hit the grand slam in the 2nd inning last night to give the Bears a 5-0 lead. Cal never trailed at any point in last night's ball game. So 1 away here in the top half of the 1st inning, and in steps Jet Kennedy, the freshman shortstop from Carlsbad, California in the San Diego area. He exited in the 2nd inning against UC Davis back in late April. Did not play for a 4-game stretch with hamstring tightness, but back in there last night. Kennedy was 2 for 5 with a solo homer in the 1st inning, and he takes a strike here against Payon. Henry Zetkowski got the loss last night for the Hoos. 6 1/3, gave up 5 earned. All of those runs in the first 2 innings. 5 hits, a walk, 9 strikeouts, 1 shy of his career high. The victory for Cal going to their Friday night ace. Oliver Delatorre, 6 innings of strong pitching, gave up 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He also locked 97 pitches. Payon with a record of 1-3 on the season. Last started the 2nd game of the Radford doubleheader on Sunday. His 0-2, wave and a miss. And Kennedy goes down via the strikeout, 2 away. Kennedy, who has maybe been the most consistent producer of offense for the Bears throughout 2026, and yet he's in his 1st year in college. So with 2 out and nobody on, Daniel Murillo steps in. Murillo gave the Bears some insurance in the 7th inning last night with a 2-run single. 7-4 at that point, 7-4 the final score. Murillo takes outside for ball 1. .310 hitter on the season, 10 homers, and tied for the team lead with 43 runs driven in alongside Hideki Prather. Murillo in his 1st year with the Bears, coming over from Division II San Francisco State, one of 27 newcomers for Cal this season, and he lofts one into right center field. Gracia on the run, he gives way to Sam Harris, who is starting in right field for the first time this season, as those two get well acquainted with one another on the grass, and the side is retired. It's a 1-2-3 inning for John Payon to begin the ball game, and Virginia comes to bat for the first time when we return on ACC Network Extra. Back at the dish as we go to the bottom of the first here in Charlottesville. Virginia putting up a 1-2-3 top half of the first inning thanks to a 6-pitch inning from John Payon. And now the Who's come to bat for the first time. Here's the batting order for first-year head coach Chris Pollard. A.J. Gracia continues to lead off. Multiple hits in each of his last 3, the junior center fielder. Second baseman Joe Tiroli hits second. Harrison Didowick, the senior left fielder, bats third. Cleaning up is Sam Harris, playing in right field for the first time this season, riding a 10-game hitting streak. Jake Weatherspoon, the catcher, hits 5th. The designated hitter is Kyle Johnson. He bats 6th. Antonio Parada gets the nod at first base for the first time this season. He hits 7th. Freshman R.J. Holmes hits 8th. He's playing shortstop. And Noah Murray, the number 9 hitter, the junior third baseman for the Who's. Virginia looking to get off to a nice start here today against Gavin Eddy, the redshirt sophomore right-hander for the Bears. He also makes his 13th start on the season, leads the team with a 6-3 record, 3.14 ERA, entering the weekend number 7 in the ACC, and a little under 72 innings pitched so far in 2026. A guy who has logged a lot of pitches in recent games. As the Bears begin with 3 guys on the right side of the diamond, and A.J. Gracia takes a first pitch strike. Gracia last night 2 for 4, a bunt single in the first inning, as the Bears had the shift on then as well, and Gracia took advantage of that. Also had a single in the 7th inning. Gracia doesn't swing, and it's now 0-2. Gavin Eddy, a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup combination. Talking with head coach Mike New, he says that Gavin controls the game very well, understands what he's doing out there. He can use any pitch at any time. Gracia holds, and it's 1-2. Eddy has thrown over 100 pitches in 5 of his last 7 starts. Last pitched a week ago against Virginia Tech at home. Got the loss, gave up 4 runs, just one of which was earned in 6 innings of work. And Gracia chases the high heat at 92 upstairs, and Gracia punched out for the 31st time this season. 1 away here in the bottom half of the first. Now, Coach Pollard was very disappointed with his team's buy-in in terms of the approach in last night's game. The Cavaliers racked up 5 hits within the first 2 innings of the game, but only mustered 2 in the final 7 frames. Cole Clark getting a 9-out save for the Bears, 3 scoreless innings. The number 2 hitter is Joe Tiroli, 297 hitter, 10 homers, 48 RBIs. Tiroli was 0 for 4 yesterday, grounded into a double play in the first inning. And Tiroli gets tied up here, and it's 1-1. Prior to last night, Tiroli was hitting .419 in the previous 8 games. He was 13 for 31 with 4 homers and 3 doubles in that stretch. 7 homers since the beginning of April. And he launches one high in the sky, down the left field line. Schmidt gives it a look, but it's out of play. Seventh all-time meeting between these two squads. Virginia leads 4-2. Cavaliers won the series in Berkeley a year ago, 2 out of 3. Virginia, though, a much different roster from last season, just like the Bears, experiencing a lot of changes in the offseason. Virginia bringing on Chris Pollard from Duke in the offseason. The 2-2. And Tiroli out in front of it. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gavin Eddy to begin his Saturday afternoon. Eddy is number 5 in the ACC in strikeout to walk ratio, 4.7, and with pitches like that, you can understand why. Not too many guys on the Bears pitching staff will necessarily blow you away with speed, but it's a Cal pitching staff that overall is pretty efficient. 4.33 ERA, that's fourth in the conference, as Didowick tags one foul. Harrison hitting .311 on the season, 8 homers and 43 RBIs. Didowick will be one of 7 seniors and grad students honored tomorrow as part of Senior Day prior to the game. The 0-1 to Didowick, and he fouls it back to the screen, and Gavin Eddy 1 strike away from the 1-2-3 bottom half of the first. Game 50 for both squads. Virginia 32-17. Cal meanwhile at 26-23. Virginia checks in this weekend with a top 20 RPI at number 18. The Bears meanwhile at number 71 heading into Friday. That was 13th best in the ACC. But still some opportunities for both teams to improve their standing. Virginia will head to Louisville next weekend. Cal will be home against Stanford. 2-2 now the count to Didowick. Harrison, the grizzled vet on this Virginia squad as he tries to get the first hit of the game against Eddy. Didowick makes his 203rd career start in a Who's jersey today and his 210th game played. 2-2. Didowick tied up, strike 3. And Gavin Eddy strikes out the side. Gracia, Tiroli, and Didowick all perplexed by the brilliant pitching of Cal's right-hander. No score here as we head to the second from the dish. We head to the second inning here at Charlottesville. No score. Both pitchers have been brilliant to begin the game. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Gavin Eddy to start, and John Payon working a 1-2-3 top half of the first inning, getting Prather to line out, Kennedy to strike out, and Murillo to fly out. We'll face the cleanup hitter now in Lawson Olmstead. Cavaliers looking to even up the series after falling last night 7-4. Cal's head coach Mike New said after the game, "We stayed resilient. Always great to get a win on a Friday night, especially on the road." A Bears team that started this weekend tied for last place in the ACC. Cal now a game ahead of Clemson and currently tied with Duke. A reminder that all 16 squads in the ACC will make the ACC tournament, which starts in just about a week and a half. 10 days away at Truist Field in Charlotte. Bears a very dangerous squad. They put up some serious offensive numbers in a road series a few weeks back against Pitt. This has been a team that has dealt with the injury bug throughout the season, especially the spine of the team. Olmstead, 241 hitter on the season, ahead here 2-0, and he pops one up right side. Antonio Parada managing first base for the first time this season, reaches over to the shoulder, 1 out. Parada, who was playing first base for the first time since May 7th of last season against Towson, came off the bench in that game to man that position. Parada has been the DH every single time he has started this season, so Coach Pollard tinkering the lineup today. So with 1 out and nobody on, it's Carl Schmidt. He attacks the first pitch and comes up empty for strike one. 93 miles per hour on the fastball from Peon. John, a fastball changeup slider combination in his arsenal. Second game of the Radford doubleheader, a no decision. Pitched 3 innings, gave up 4 unearned runs, 4 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Gave up a 3-run homer to the Highlanders' Brecken Nace in the first inning, but developed some confidence as that outing continued. Virginia winning the doubleheader against the Highlanders last Sunday. Both of those games 11-1 and 7 and 14-5. The 1-1 to Schmidt. Looks at it down the middle, and it's 1-2. Peon has mostly been the Sunday starter for the Who's, but Coach Pollard flipping Kyle Johnson and Peon this weekend, so Johnson will go tomorrow. He's the DH for the Who's this afternoon, just like he was last night. The 1-2 rocketed out to right center field. Off the bat of Schmidt. Harris and Gracia give chase, and it's over the wall for a homer. Carl Schmidt blasts his 9th home run of the season. Just like last night, the Bears take the lead. .390 into the right center field gap on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Exit speed at over 100. And Carl Schmidt hits Cal's 3rd home run of the series. Peon just left that 2 over the plate, and Schmidt burying it beyond the wall in right center. So now with 1 out and nobody on, it's Campbell. Swings through the first pitch from Peon. The Bears only had 4 home runs in an 8-game stretch prior to this series. They're 3rd on this series, with that one out to right center. Campbell has 6 homers on the season, .280 hitter, the 3rd baseman for the Bears. 0-2. Campbell 2 for 3 last night with a walk and scored a run in the 2nd inning. Singled in the 4th, doubled in the 8th. Campbell began the season with his hair on fire. 15-game hitting streak, hitting just .225 since, but that performance last night certainly helping the average. Lifted to the right side. Parada in a similar spot when he retired Olmstead, and he reaches up to make the catch. He bobbles the ball on the transfer, still counts as an out. 2 away. So now another freshman for the Bears. This is Brady Ericart, making just his 8th start on the season. And Ericart takes outside for ball 1. While we have a moment, let's set up the defense for the Cavaliers. On the infield, Noah Murray, R.J. Holmes, Joe Tiroli, and Antonio Parada from left to right. Harrison Didowick in left field, A.J. Gracia in center. Sam Harris plays in right for the first time. Jake Weatherspoon continues to catch for the Who's, and he reels in a strike from Peon, 1-1. There's Jake. Began the season on the injured list, came back in mid-March. This is his 30th start on the year. And the count now 1-2 from John Peon. John had only given up 5 home runs in 43 2/3 coming into today. Carl Schmidt, though, beats him early. 1 ball and 2 strikes here with 2 outs to Ericart. And the pitch, freshman to freshman, bounced foul. Bears offensively as a team hitting .275. That's 14th best out of 16 in the ACC, only better than Virginia Tech and Duke. Only scoring about 5.5 runs per game. That's dead last in the conference. In the 8 games prior to this series, they were averaging just 3.1 runs per game, but got 7 last night to beat the Who's. A 3-run victory. Chop to second. Tiroli backing up. Fires to first in time. And that'll do it for the top half of the 2nd inning. But the Bears take the lead for the 2nd time in this series. They score the first run on a solo homer, this time from Carl Schmidt, his 9th on the season. 1-0 Bears as we head to the bottom of the second here from Disharoon Park. We're back here at the Dish. A 1-2-3 bottom half of the first inning for Gavin Eddy, striking out Gracia, Tiroli, and Didowick. One of the best pitchers in the ACC in terms of strikeout to walk ratio. Off to a terrific start here in Central Virginia as he now takes on the cleanup hitter for the Hoos in Sam Harris, who is looking to extend his on-base streak to 16 consecutive games. Currently riding a 10-game hitting streak. Waves and misses on the first pitch from Eddy for strike one. Harris last night 1 for 4 with a single and scored a run in the second inning. Struck out a couple of times. The power has gone down for Harris. Only 2 home runs in the 16 games of April, and has not hit a home run in this series just yet. However, he did have a solo homer in the doubleheader against Radford. Harris has been playing through a bit of a nagging back issue. Still leads the team with 13 homers, tied for the club lead with 48 RBIs. 1-2 now the count from Gavin Eddy. Harris is a very mercurial player. He can get hot at any given time and really carry an offense. First year as the full-time first baseman for a squad. He comes over from Duke. Didn't bat all too much his freshman season, platooned his sophomore season, and he strikes out there. That's 4 consecutive punch-outs from Gavin Eddy to begin the ballgame. We saw something similar on Sunday in the first game of the Radford doubleheader when Raymond Ladd for the Highlanders struck out the first 4 Hoos, and Virginia still looking to get its first base runner this afternoon as Weatherspoon steps in. He puts the ball in play. That's the first time that's happened for the Hoos, but Weatherspoon thrown out. Nice toss. And 2 quick outs here for Eddy. Gavin only needed 14 pitches to record the first 3 outs of the ball game in the first. Now it's Eddy and Kyle Johnson. Johnson just 2 for his last 17. However, one of those hits was a grand slam in the second inning last night, his first home run in over a month. Johnson now with 26 RBIs on the season. Looking to correct some of his strikeout issues. He struck out once last night. Strikes out in about 47% of his at-bats. .247 hitter on the season. Johnson, who will be tomorrow's starter for the Hoos. Cal has yet to announce a starter for tomorrow's game. Basically the formula for the Bears going into any weekend. Ethan Foley will start the weekend as sort of the designated closer. And if the Bears are in a tight game late, they'll typically go to Foley. If he doesn't pitch in those first 2 games of a series, he'll then start on Sunday. If he does go, expect Otto Espinoza to be the Sunday starter. 1-2. 71 degrees here in Charlottesville on this Saturday afternoon. Here's the 1-2 from Eddie. Too tall, and it's 2-2. Very busy times here on grounds with the ACC Softball Championship game happening right now over at Palmer Park. Virginia Tech and Florida State. Currently FSU has a 2-1 lead. Kyle Johnson strikes out. That's 5 punch-outs for Gavin Eddy amongst the first 6 he's faced. This guy has been dialed in to begin, as Eddy is controlling the Hoos right now, dropping it on Kyle Johnson. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Eddy, and it's a 1-0 Bears lead on the road. We go to the top of the third here from Disharoon Park in Charlottesville. Cal on the road leading 1-0. Virginia's bats have gone ice cold. The Cavaliers have not scored a run over the last 9 innings, dating back to last night. So John Payon tries to hold down the fort now for the Hoos as he battles 8-9-1 for the Bears, starting off with redshirt sophomore center fielder Ethan Kadama. 21 pitches thus far for Payon, and he works outside for ball 1. Kadama comes in with a .231 batting average, no homers and 8 RBIs. In fact, the bottom 3 in the batting order for the Bears do not have a home run this season. Kadama playing in center because of the injury to Joshua Hansen. A redshirt freshman from San Francisco, Hansen has not played since April 24th against Miami. He is likely out for the remainder of the season after he made a stupendous play in the outfield against the Canes in that series. First-year Bear coming over from USC. So Kadama, a guy who was platooning the 4th outfielder to begin the season. He has been handed a much bigger role in this Bears team going down the stretch of the regular season. Kadama got off to a really tough start at the plate. He was hitting just .163 through April 2nd. 281 hitters since. However, he was 0 for 3 last night, hit by a pitch on the elbow in the 2nd inning against Henry Zetkowski. Struck out a couple of times. Won't strike out here, at least just yet. It's now 2-2. One of those strikeouts for Kadama was on a pitch clock violation. He was not alert to the pitcher in time at the 8-second mark on the pitch clock in the 8th inning last night. 2 balls and 2 strikes from the freshman Payon. John Sett working from the third base side of the rubber and pumps one in. 95 miles per hour, so the fastball ticking up 1 or 2 to start today's game. Perfect Game's #1 right-handed pitching recruit out of Massachusetts in the class of 2025 out of Lawrence Academy. He's from Lexington, just northwest of Boston. His 3-2 is corkscrewed foul off the bat of Kadama. Gannon Snyder will follow up here for the Bears, and then Hideki Prather as Cal moves it back to the top of the order. One game in the ACC in baseball has gone final already in Chapel Hill. North Carolina run ruling Pitt 12-2. Panthers haven't won a game since they swept the Hoos in the Steel City. 3-2, Kadama chases for strike 3. That's the second strikeout for John Peon. Kadama with 38 strikeouts in 109 at-bats. So with one out and nobody on, it's Gannon Snyder, the number 9 hitter. Snyder makes his 30th start on the season today. Cal playing in game 50. Snyder 1 for 3 with an infield single in the second inning last night. And he grounds one to the right side here. Tiroli has it covered, ropes it over to first, 2 away. There's Antonio Parada communicating with his group. He's the new guy in the infield. R.J. Holmes was that guy for a while. Eric Becker still out with injury for the Cavaliers. EB now missing his 11th consecutive game for Virginia. Started taking ground balls last weekend. He was reevaluated on Tuesday. They made the determination to keep him out this weekend. They're hopeful that Becker could return maybe at the start of next weekend's series against Louisville. The games will be bumped up by 1 day, so the Hoos will be in the Bluegrass State for games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday against the Cards. Cal finishes up at home against Stanford Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Peon's 0-1 to Prather, popped foul, and it's 0-2 here with 2 outs. A couple of hits for Prather last night, including the grand slam out to right center field on a fastball in the outer half. Took it the opposite way and found success. Multiple hits for Prather in 5 of his last 7 and 6 of his last 9. The 0-2 from Peon. Fouled back to the screen. Prather in his first extended run. First couple of years at Clemson. Did not play all too much with the Tigers. Redshirted his first season. Second year just 4 at-bats, although he did have 3 hits in limited action. Prather hitting .333 coming into today in his junior season, his first on the West Coast. The 0-2 from Peon. Little dribbler to the left side. Murray tried to cut it off. Holmes fires, and it's off the bag. R.J. Holmes has had his struggles at shortstop defensively. Committed an error in 3 consecutive games prior to last night. That was always going to be a very challenging play, with Prather showing off the wheels down the first base line. I'd imagine they give Prather an infield single there. We'll see. But the door is open for the Bears here in the top half of the 3rd inning, and now it's Jack Kennedy. Shortstop struck out his first time up, and indeed they did give Prather an infield single on that hit. Another chance for Holmes. Goes the short way to second, and Tiroli hauls it in. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Bears, and a 1-0 Cal lead here at Disharoon Park in Charlottesville. The visiting Bears with a 1-0 lead here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Cal getting its lone run of the day back in the second inning on Carl Schmidt's home run. And now Gavin Eddy back to the bump for his third inning of work. He's retired the first 6 and struck out 5 different Who's. The only Virginia player to put the ball in play was Jake Weatherspoon on a ground out to second in the second inning. So Eddy will now face Antonio Parada, the junior first baseman. Parada starting in the field for the first time this season. 24 starts prior to today, all as the designated hitter. Started at DH in the first game of the Radford doubleheader on Sunday, went 0 for 2 with 2 walks, came off the bench in game 2 and was 0 for 1. Parada hitless in his last 15 at-bats across his last 6 games. But given an opportunity this afternoon after Virginia's offense was pretty quiet, no runs over the last 7 innings of last night's ball game and nothing on the scoreboard yet through 2+. Parada holds and it's 1-1. Antonio, they nickname him Tone. He is made of concrete. 6'4", 230. The junior from Rockville, Maryland, just outside of D.C. And a couple of home runs in 21 at-bats in his first 2 seasons in college. Good eye here from Antonio, and it's 2-1. Parada, then the freshman Holmes and Noah Murray here in the home half of inning 3. Cavaliers offensively with 83 home runs, tied for the second most in a single season in Virginia history. That's in on Parada, and it's now 3-1. Believe this is the first 3-ball count today for Gavin Eddy, who has been in command to start. In jeopardy of giving up his first base runner, and there it is. So Parada walks on 5 pitches, and the Cavaliers have their first base runner of the afternoon. Parada has a very strong on-base percentage at nearly 44% on the season. So a glimmer of hope here for the Who's as they begin the third with a strong plate appearance from the junior Parada. Now it's R.J. Holmes, the freshman shortstop, 1 for 4 last night, singled and stole a base in the second inning. Holmes squares to bunt, and he gets hit along the shoulder, maybe near the rib cage too. So Holmes will get first base, and Chris Pollard asking for time as the Virginia athletic trainer Bailey Hill also comes out of the dugout. Ouch. Now the Cavaliers' depth at shortstop is very thin right now without the services of Eric Becker, gone for an 11th straight game. And Coach Pollard was very honest in our conversation this week, saying if we have one more injury on the infield, we're pretty much going to be bringing in a guy from the outfield to play infield, so they can ill afford to lose a guy like Holmes. The 4 umpires will come together near the mound here. I wonder if they want to take another look or talk about this to see if it actually did hit Holmes. And based on RJ's response, it certainly seemed like he got hit. If it stands, it's the 3rd hit by pitch for Holmes this season, his first in college. All right, here's another look. The left wrist certainly exposed there on the bunt. Bears head coach and Mike New comes out to discuss it. Perhaps from his vantage point, he thought the ball clicked off the bat. And the umpires will go take a look. So they'll head towards the replay monitor down the first base line. So Chris Pollard and Virginia look on here. The umpires must have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, and from the vantage point we received, it seemed like there was too much that would tell you otherwise. All right, as we zoom in here, this will be a better look. Holmes' perspective, I think he'd tell you that it hit around his upper rib cage. From the Bears' perspective, they might be saying, hey, it tipped off the bat first and then may have hit the body of Holmes. So the umpires will slow this down for sure and make their determination. Gavin Eddy, the 6'5", 225-pound right-hander, trying to stay loose. I can only imagine what that conversation is like on first base. I got hit. No, you didn't. No, I did. Trust me. Daniel Murillo and R.J. Holmes and Casey Scott, the first base coach. While we have a moment, good chance to tell you that Florida State in softball won the ACC championship 2-1 here in Charlottesville. The Seminoles with the dub. Jazzy Franzik improves to 22-2 on the season, and FSU secures its 20th ACC tournament championship, their first since 2023. Florida State was playing in its 28th conference title game in 33 years. So the umpires decide not to overturn the call. They'll stick with the original call, which was a hit by pitch. Travis Carlson, our crew chief, down the third base line today. John Byrne calling the balls and strikes. Matthew Schaefer at first, and Ryan Clark manning second base for the umpires today. So the Cavaliers threatening here as they move it to the number 9 hitter now in Noah Murray. Third baseman hitting just 167 on the season. He's only won for his last 16. Corner is pinching in for the Bears. Murray drops down a bunt. It's a good one. Eddie Fields only has one option and throws out Murray at first. It's a successful sacrifice, moving both runners in scoring position here with one out, and a nice hand here from the Cavaliers faithful, realizing that this offense has been struggling over the last game plus. And now Virginia base hit away from taking a 2-1 lead. So back to the top of the order now with AJ Gracia. AJ had missed 4 consecutive games down the stretch of April. Took him a bit to get his timing back, but as Coach Pollard said to us this week, it's just like a basketball player seeing the ball go through the hoop. Once you get a couple of hits, then you feel like you're back to your normal standard. And AJ is certainly at that point right now with a couple of hits last night, multiple hits in each of his last 3. Gracia chases there and can't come up with it. 0-2. Gracia with 4 hits on Sunday in the doubleheader. Third-team All-ACC selection as a freshman, second-team All-Conference last year with Duke. No balls and 2 strikes, and Gracia holds 1-2. The second baseman Brady Ericart playing out on the grass behind his second base position where he normally would operate. Bears with 3 guys on the right side of the diamond. The normal shortstop position pretty vacant right now for AJ if he goes that direction. 2-2. Well, the sand poured out of the hourglass very quickly last night for Virginia. 5 hits in the first 2 innings, but just 2 in the final 7. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Offering from Eddie, and Gracia strikes out for the second time. It's now half a dozen strikeouts for Gavin Eddy. 2 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. So now it's left to Joe Tiroli, who struck out his first time up. Tiroli hitless in his last 5 at-bats. And Tiroli punches one into the right center field gap. Snyder on the run on the warning track makes the catch for a long out number 3. And the side is retired. 359 out into the right center field gap, needed about 370. Cavaliers put the first 2 on base, a sac bunt by Murray. Gracia strikes out, Tiroli flies out, and Virginia held 0 there in the third. 1-0 Bears through 3 here in Charlottesville. Shifted to the fourth inning here in Charlottesville. John Payone giving up just 1 run so far on a home run for the Bears and Carl Schmidt in inning 2 of this ball game. Virginia in jeopardy of dropping back-to-back conference series. The Hoos had beaten Clemson 2 out of 3 in mid-April, but then got swept against the Pitt Panthers in their final series in April from the 24th through the 26th. Only scored 8 runs in that series. And so far in this series, held to just 4. Payone and Daniel Murillo to start the fourth inning here. Murillo flew out to the right fielder Sam Harris to finish up the first inning for the Bears. Off the knob, and that'll roll foul. Eight games involving ACC teams last night. We told you North Carolina earlier today took game 2 of a series against Pitt 12-2. The number 2 Tar Heels also won last night 4-1. Jason DeCaro getting the victory, 5 scoreless innings. FSU over Clemson last night as well, 8-4. Wes Mendez picking up his 9th victory on the season. The 0-2. That bounces in 1-2. Mendez 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, over 100 pitches in that start from the Noles. Georgia Tech beating Duke 10-9, outlasting them in 10 innings. Yellow Jackets hit 5 home runs in that game. Drew Burris with the walk-off sacrifice fly in the 10th. 1-2 bouncing ball to third. Backhanded play by Murray. Sets, fires on target. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. As Murillo falls to 0 for 2 today. So with 1 out, Lawson Olmstead will step in. He popped up to the first baseman Antonio Parada to start the second inning of today's ball game. Mark Light Field last night. Louisville over Miami 16-9 in 11 innings. The Cardinals snapping their 6-game losing streak. They scored 9 runs in the 11th inning of that game. Tage Davis hit 2 more home runs for Louisville. Number 1 in the nation now with 32 home runs. The most by an ACC player in a single season ever, surpassing the previous record held by J.D. Drew and Brock Wilken with 31 home runs each. So congratulations to Tage. At Eck Stadium in South Bend in a non-conference game, Notre Dame over Oakland 2-0. Golden Grizzlies team that's lost 14 straight games coming into today. Jack Riddell 5 scoreless innings to pick up his 7th victory on the season. 1-2 the count now to Payone. Olmstead and then Carl Schmidt responsible for the only run of today's game so far. Olmstead now 0 for 5 in this series. Took an 0 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. A 1-2 bending way too far out. And it's now 2-2. At the couch, Wake Forest over Western Carolina yesterday, 6-1. Cade Lewis, a 3-run homer, 451 feet in the first inning of that game. 2-2 from Payon. Punched foul, and we'll do it again. Dalton Wentz hit a solo homer in the fourth. Andrew Costello, a 2-run shot in the fourth. That's all the offense the Demon Deacons needed for their 33rd victory on the season. And finally, at Sunken Diamond, Stanford over NC State in a tight one late last night, 6-5. Cardinal were down 3-2 at the end of 7. They scored 4 in the 8th to win. J.J. Moran with the go-ahead 2-run double. 2-2. Fly ball out to center. Gracia took some steps back, now moves forward, hauls it in for the second out of the inning. So as we take a peek at the ACC standings, following North Carolina's win today, the Tar Heels are now just a game and a half back of Georgia Tech for first place. The Yellow Jackets 20-5 in the ACC, now back-to-back 40-win seasons for Georgia Tech for the first time since 2010-2011, and the fastest to 40 wins in program history. Schmidt takes for strike one. Carl went the opposite way to right center field to deliver his 9th home run of the season. 9 home runs and only 14 RBIs on the year, so a lot of his home runs have been via the solo home run variety. Out in front of that pitch, and it's 0-2. Nice changeup there from Payon. Seeking his second 1-2-3 inning of the day, and he's got it. Rings up another strikeout. And in that rematch with Carl Schmidt, after he dented him for a home run back in the second inning, this time Payon gets the best of him. Nice slider there from John. Made a little adjustment on that slider a couple of weeks ago, and it pays off there. Second 1-2-3 inning of the day for the freshman Payon. 1-0 Cal here in Charlottesville. Bottom 4 here in Charlottesville. It's a 1-0 Cal lead over Virginia. 3 scoreless innings so far for Gavin Eddy on a beautiful afternoon here in Central Virginia. First round of the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Tournament tomorrow over at Klockner Stadium out to our left. Virginia taking on Georgetown, the ACC champion Cavaliers. Harrison Didowick takes strike one. Didowick striking out his first time up against Gavin Eddy, who struck out the first 4 of today's ball game. In total with 6 strikeouts through his first 11 batters faced. No changes defensively for the Bears today as compared to yesterday. Schmidt, Kadama, Snyder left to right in the outfield. Campbell, Kennedy, Ericart, Murillo left to right on the infield, with Prather doing the catching. 2 balls and 1 strike. Didowick with 41 career home runs, second most in Virginia history, only behind Jake Geloff's 48. 2-2. Jake playing here with the Hoos from 2021 to 23, was the 60th overall pick by the LA Dodgers in 23, currently in AA with Tulsa. Also played with Israel in the WBC. Didowick strikes out here. That's 7 strikeouts for Gavin Eddy. So Eddy has retired 4 consecutive. Third inning looked promising for the Who's. Antonio Parada walked to lead off that inning. Then R.J. Holmes was hit by a pitch. That call stood after review. But after a sacrifice bunt from Noah Murray, Gracia struck out and Tiroli flew out to end the frame. And so Eddy continues with his shutdown performance thus far. Sam Harris struck out his first time up to start the second inning for Virginia. 15-game on-base streak for Sam as he pounds it foul. Ball and a strike. Virginia, the 3-time ACC tournament champions, 96, 09, and 11. A lot of work to do before the conference tournament begins in 10 days in Charlotte. If the season were to end today, the Cavaliers would be in a tie for 8th place alongside NC State at 12 and 13 in the league. The 1-2 from Eddy. Harris goes after one, bounces in the dirt. Prather throws, 2 outs. So that's now 8 strikeouts for Gavin Eddy. Only through 3 2/3. Eight of his first 11 outs have been via the strikeout. And now Weatherspoon takes outside for ball 1. Jake put the ball in play. He was the first Who to do so. That was back in the second inning on a ground out to second. Eric Hart made the throw. 1-0. And Weatherspoon gets under one, looking through the sunglasses. Instead, it's Carl Schmidt who makes the catch. And that does it for a very uneventful inning for the Who's. And Virginia still has not scored a run since the second inning of yesterday's game. A lot of pressure being placed on the shoulders of John Payon right now to keep his team in the ball game. 1-0 Bears over Virginia at the end of 4 from Disharoon Park. Four hitless innings thus far for Gavin Eddy as we head to the 5th inning. Cal maintains a 1-0 lead following the home run from Carl Schmidt in the second inning. John Payon hasn't been too bad himself. Payon allowing just 2 hits through the first 4. And Payon will face 6, 7, and 8 for the Bears, starting off with Cade Campbell. A lull in early May for Virginia. The Cavaliers awoken from a mini hibernation when they scored a combined 25 runs against Radford on Sunday. And some might say, okay, the Highlanders, that's a mid-major team. I don't necessarily put too much stock into that. And totally, I understand that. Campbell fouls it off his leg. Radford, a team, though, that pitches in the mid-5s in terms of the ERA. So that group has its identity on the mound. And Virginia found a way to shake up the Highlanders. on Sunday. But now Virginia's got to do it against an even better pitching staff in Cal, entering today with a 4.33 ERA. The offense has been good enough for the Bears in this series. Fly ball from Campbell here, and Gracia puts it away for the first out of the fifth. Campbell now 0 for 2 on the day. Bears picked up their first ranked victory of the season yesterday by taking down the number 23 Cavaliers. 7-4 the final score. I mentioned it earlier, but the performance from Cole Clark out of the bullpen was stupendous. 3 scoreless innings. Got the save, his 4th on the season, allowed just 1 hit, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Here's Brady Ehricart for Cal, the freshman second baseman, making just his 8th start on the season. The Bears once again playing without the services of Jacob French today, out for his 8th consecutive game. French did not make the trip. Transferred from San Francisco State 2 years ago. He was a 3rd-team All-ACC selection with Cal in 2025. French hitting .344 at the time of his injury, and that's a big loss. They're hopeful that French could return at some point this season. But obviously time is running out here, including today. The Bears, with just 5 games remaining in the regular season, they won't have a midweek game. Virginia, meanwhile, will host Richmond on Tuesday. It'll be a day game against the Spiders, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have it for you on ACC Network Extra. But first, the series finale tomorrow on Senior Day at 1 o'clock. Also on ACC NX. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Payon set. Rifles one in. High chopper foul. Today here at the Dish is Youth Saturday, and trading cards are being given out. Tomorrow, the Senior Day festivities, pregame inflatables, and it's also Mother's Day. So roses will be handed out here at the ballpark. Some of the mothers of the seniors will throw out the first pitches tomorrow. That'll be awesome to watch. Yesterday was Military Appreciation Day, or Heroes Appreciation Day, and had a great conversation about that with Coach Pollard a couple of days ago. Said he really recognizes that appreciation. Payon's 1-2 is on the way, and that's tailed foul. Pollard's 2 grandfathers actually both served. His dad's dad fought in World War II. His mom's dad fought in the Korean War. And Chris was saying to us, I remember sitting down listening to their stories about live combat, bullets hitting off of helmets, incredible things that we certainly take for granted on a day-to-day basis. Great to have our heroes in the park last night. 1-2, a ground ball up the middle. Holmes ranging to his left, knocks it down. He's got a hustle here. Throw not made nearly in time. So R.J. Holmes, who has committed 7 errors this season, and today is just his 16th start, his 14th consecutive start. Ehricart reaches here with 1 out. Now, Coach Pollard has been very honest in his assessment of that position, saying we're certainly thin there. Expect to have 4 players that will be able to play shortstop next season as he thinks about his 2026 recruiting class. And RJ knows that early in the season he was held out of the lineup or not given as many opportunities because of his defense, and he knows he needs to improve in that area as Ethan Kadama steps in. Cavaliers committed 6 errors in the second game of the Radford doubleheader on Sunday, their most in over 2 decades. And the official score has ruled that an E6, so that's the first error of today's ball game for Virginia. Cavaliers a team fielding percentage at .965. That's 3rd to last in the conference. They need that to improve if they hope to make a serious run in the ACC championship. 1-0 to Kadama, off the mitt of Weatherspoon, but no advancement from Ehricart. A reminder that the ACC tournament format for the 2nd consecutive season is all 16 teams will make it. 1 through 4 get a double bye to the quarterfinal. 5 through 8 get a single bye to the second round. 9 through 16 play in the first round. So at the very least, Virginia just trying to be in that top 8. 2-1 now, the count to Kadama. The Bears, meanwhile, were in the basement of the ACC just last night, but with their victory combined with a Clemson loss, they are now tied for second to last in the ACC alongside the Duke Blue Devils coming into today. Runner goes, hit and run opportunity, and a foul ball here from Kadama will force Ericart to trudge back to first base. Always feels like a long walk when you jet for the bag and then have to retreat on a foul ball. Couple of stolen bases this season for Ericart, again in limited action. 8th start in 2026. Pretty good lead at first. Here's Payone's pitch, rides inside, and now it's a full count. Gannon Snyder on deck for the Bears. Cal has yet to use a pinch hitter in this series. In fact, Virginia did not go to its bench yesterday either. 3 balls and 2 strikes here with 1 out. See if Ericart goes on the pitch. First, a check-in on Brady. As a team, the Bears 45 stolen bases this season in 49 plus games. That's 13th in the ACC. Virginia allows the 4th most stolen bases in the conference. He is going. Pitch outside corner, strike 3 as Weatherspoon drops the ball. So Ericart does steal second. Kadama strikes out for the 2nd time. There are 2 outs in the inning. That's the 4th strikeout today for John Payone. Better than a strikeout per inning coming into today. So now it's left to the number 9 hitter, Gannon Snyder. Grounded out to second base his first time up. Soft contact to short. Holmes with another opportunity. Makes the throw on the run. And the side is retired. So RJ avenges for the E6 that allowed Ericart to reach. And it's another scoreless inning for John Payone, his 3rd consecutive. But the Bears still lead by a slim 1 as we're midway through at Davenport Field at Disharoon Park. Gavin Eddy has been cruising here in Charlottesville on the road. He is not allowed a hit in his first 4 innings of work. 8 strikeouts thus far for the Bears right-hander. Sam Harris going down. Kyle Johnson can't catch up. Too much sauce there to Gracia. Harrison Didowick beaten by the fastball. And Eddy has been smooth so far. The redshirt sophomore, top 10 in the conference in ERA, 5th in strikeout to walk ratio. Gave up 4 runs, just 1 earned, in a loss in 6 innings against Virginia Tech on Saturday a week ago. Not fair to even say he's bounced back nicely because he pitched pretty well a week ago, and he pitched pretty well against the Cavaliers in Berkeley last year. A no decision in a 10-8 loss. Gave up just 2 earned runs in 5 innings of work, 82 pitches. But he did not have a strikeout that day over a year ago, and this is certainly a different iteration of the Cavaliers under a first-year head coach. Multiple players coming via the transfer portal, freshmen getting opportunities. Really had a nice conversation with Coach New the other day, and he talked about the strength of his pitching staff, and he said, look, these guys went through a lot of bruises and bumps a year ago. They took their lumps and they came back for another year. In fact, the Bears return a good portion of their pitching staff, 4 of their top 5 in innings pitched from a year ago. It's the batting order that has changed a lot for Cal. The Bears losing 7 of their top 10 in terms of hits from 2025. Eddie, one of those guys. He made 9 starts last season, 16 appearances, tossed 58 innings, 5.74 ERA, but he has dropped that ERA over 2 this season. Well, Johnson didn't like that one, but it's another strikeout. This time he goes down looking. It's the 9th K for Eddie. Good location there, low in the zone, right along the knees. And Johnson thought it was low, but in the strike zone enough for home plate umpire John Byrne. Now Antonio Parada. Cavaliers trying to break through as Parada fouls it off. Virginia also seeking now its 18th come from behind victory on the season. Put together 3 consecutive come from behind victories, a 5-1 win over Mason and then the 2 wins over Radford on Sunday. Parada takes low, 1-1 the count. Still some nice giddy up on the fastball from Gavin at 94 that time here in the 5th inning. Eddie only needing to throw 48 pitches to get through the first 4 frames. Here's the 1-1. And Parada swings and misses that time. He took a few miles per hour off the fastball that time at 91. And it's now 1-2. R.J. Holmes on deck here for Virginia with 1 out in the 5th. If you're just joining us, the Cavaliers have not scored since the 2nd inning of last night's game on a grand slam from Johnson. There's the first base knock of the afternoon for the Hoos as Parada takes it right back up the middle, and Virginia has a 1-out base runner here in the 5th. So Coach Pollard makes the adjustment to his lineup. He brings Parada on, starts at first base for the first time this season, and he ends up on first base there. So let's see if that'll stew up the Hoos now and cook up some offense. R.J. Holmes hit by a pitch his first time at the plate. Parada has not attempted a stolen base this season as Holmes takes a strike. RJ has put together some really strong offensive games this season. Had a couple of hits against George Mason about a week and a half ago. Only 1 for 6 in the doubleheader against Radford. And Holmes yesterday 1 for 4. Shallow center. A lot of Bears converging. Finally the catch made by Kadama. And a notion of throwing to first, but chooses not to. 2 outs. So after Holmes gets under 1, it's now the number 9 hitter Noah Murray heading to the plate. Bears have had 1 shutout this season. That was against San Francisco back on April 6th. 8-0 win for the Bears as they held the Dons to just 2 hits in that game. Cal has held 4 different opponents to 1 run this season. The 0-1 from Eddie. And Murray takes right down Broadway, and it's 0-2. The on-base percentage very respectable for Murray. 371, but below the Mendoza line in terms of the batting average. Sacrifice bunt his first time up. Gets tied up there and makes contact to stay alive. No balls and 2 strikes. Murray leads the Cavaliers with 44 walks this season, entering play today 4th in the ACC. Lorenzo Carrier of Pitt, Ty Head of NC State, Carter Deerdorf of Pitt, the only 3 in the conference with more walks. Noah just 1 for his last 16 over his last 6+ games. Good eye there, and it's 1-2 as he stays in the AB. Murray, the local product from Crozet. Older brother Ethan, a 5th-round pick by the Brewers in 21 out of Duke. Noah started his career down in Durham as well. The 1-2, Murray strikes out. This pitcher's duel continues, and Gavin Eddy up to double-digit strikeouts. He's got 10 through 5, preserving the shutout. 1-0 Bears as we go to the 6th in Charlottesville. From Berkeley to Charlottesville, the Bears on the road this weekend. Took the opening game of this series 7-4 last night, and they lead 1-0 here through 5. Virginia, the number 23 team in the land, responsible for the Bears' first-ranked victory of 2026, and Cal certainly hungry for more. John Payon has been pretty much lights out, aside from the home run surrendered to Carl Schmidt in the 2nd inning. He's only given up 1 more hit. That was an infield single from Hideki Prather that could have been called an error at shortstop. 1 error in this game has been made by R.J. Holmes, the shortstop. That was back in the 5th inning on a grounder from Eric Hart. Back to the top of the order now for the Bears. Hideki Prather. He attacks the first pitch. Parada hustles after it. Weatherspoon runs out of room. Coach New had so many great things to say about Hideki Prather. Yeah, nice. Latch on to that baseball. Keep it tight in the mitt. Make sure it doesn't pop out. Prather, a guy who Cal recruited out of high school. He's from NorCal in Oakland. Chris Bodushbaugh, the pitching coach, coached him a little bit growing up. Super competitive is Hideki. Great at preparing, good head on his shoulders. And he understands, too, what his strengths and weaknesses are at the plate. So he doesn't go fishing for stuff all too often. He is produced above the expectation levels of the Bears staff. Another pop-up and foul ground. Weatherspoon. He had enough room there, but it crawls into the Cal dugout. 1-2. Very difficult play to make, with, I'm sure, a bunch of Bears being very boisterous over there. .63 pitches for Payon through the 5th. Strike 3 is called. On the check down to the first base umpire, Matthew Schaefer. Prather strikes out for the 35th time this season. 1 away here in the 6th. A combined 15 strikeouts between the two pitchers today. Payon with 5 and Eddy with 10. Jack Kennedy responsible for 1 of those strikeouts back in the 1st inning. Grounded into a fielder's choice to end the 3rd for Cal. Kennedy, very athletic, three-sport athlete at Carlsbad High School, baseball, football, basketball. Coach New actually considers him a little bit raw despite the big numbers he's put up his freshman season. Has raw power, but he made a quick leap in the fall in terms of the learning curve. He's got a great feel for the game defensively too. Another guy that's super competitive. Coach New was saying the learning curve becomes minimized when you have all the tools that Jet has in his bag. Kennedy just gets a piece of that. A foul ball, 1-2. Looking to expand upon his 9-game hitting streak. That started prior to the injury that cost him 4 straight. Kennedy returning last night with a solo home run in his first at-bat in the first inning on a changeup up in the zone that was left up there by Henry Zetkowski. 1-2 with 1 out. Got him looking. Kennedy caught staring. 6th strikeout for Payon. Second time he's retired Kennedy via the strikeout. 2 away here in the top half of the 6th. Now Murillo, who moved up to the number 3 hitter today. He was the cleanup hitter last night. 0 for 2, grounded out his last time up. Chases that slider. 0-1. Gonna check if games around the ACC. Miami has gone final with a 10-8 win over Louisville. So the Canes win that series 2-1. TJ Coates gets the victory, his 6th on the season. Ground ball foul, and it's 1-2. Max Galvin had a couple of doubles in that game for Miami. 2 home runs for Alex Sosa. He had 4 hits in the game, 5 runs driven in. So Miami improves to 15-12 in the conference, 35-15. They have won 7 of their last 8 ACC series. 1-2, strike 3, and Payon's fired up. Let's go of all the emotion. It's the third 1-2-3 inning today for John Payon as he strikes out the side. Prather, Kennedy, and Murillo no match as Murillo goes down fishing. Payon trying to fire up his bunch. Virginia still trails 1-0 midway through 6. We're back at the dish. Charlottesville, Virginia, 1-0 Cal. John Payon tries to influence his team, raise the emotion level of his group after striking out the side in the top half of the inning. Payon has been great, allowed just the home run in the second inning of this ball game. John now with 7 strikeouts. Gavin Eddy, meanwhile, has tied his career high with 10 strikeouts. In fact, Eddy had double-digit strikeouts in his last start against Virginia Tech a week ago. Gracia laces one foul, and it's 1-1. Top of the order here for the Hoos in the home half of the 6th. Gracia, Tiroli, and Didowick. Those three a combined 0 for 6 today with 5 strikeouts. Yowzes. A 1-1. Just a bit outside, a whisker away from the plate, 2-1. AJ Gracia, a guy who might hear his name called very early in the Major League Baseball draft this summer. .325 batting average coming into today. Gracia gets handcuffed and it's 2-2. Only 64 pitches for Gavin Eddy through the first 5 innings of today's ball game. And this is something the Bears pitching staff does very well on weekends. With De La Torre and Eddy, these two guys normally go pretty deep into ball games. Never a surprise to see them working in the 7th, and not too shocking to see them work in the 8th inning either. 2 starts ago, Eddy completed 8 innings of work and was given a no decision. Gave up 3 runs against Miami. 120 pitches, a career high. Swing and a miss for Gracia. A career high 11 strikeouts for Gavin Eddy. Gracia is struck out for the 3rd time today. Mean mugging. Now Tiroli bounces in for ball 1. That ground ball gets through the 5-6 hole. It's a base hit for Tiroli. Cavaliers now with a pair of hits on the afternoon. Joe Tiroli with his first hit of the series. Well, with that hit, the Cavaliers surpassed their season low. They had just 1 hit when they lost 11-0 to Pitt towards the end of April on a Saturday game. Now Didowick tries to add on to the offense, but he lets one go by for strike 1. A pair of strikeouts so far for Didowick in this game. Virginia, a team that will strike out. They struck out 17 times in an 8-7 defeat to North Carolina back on March 7th. 15 strikeouts in a game against Charlotte in early March. Cavaliers strike out about 9 times per game, so about 1 time per inning. 1-1, Didowick flies it foul, and it's 1-2. Eddy at 94 miles per hour on the fastball here in the 6th. And with his low pitch count, again, I would not be surprised if he continues this pace and if he continues this efficiency to see him in the 8th inning of this game. We're here in the 6th. 1-2, a dozen strikeouts for Eddy. This dude's got the Midas touch right now. 3 strikeouts of Gracia, 3 strikeouts of Didowick, 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Now Sam Harris, who has struck out 2 times today. He goes the opposite way, hooking, foul, and off the screen, out of play. Virginia still with no runs since the 2nd inning of yesterday's ball game. Oliver De La Torre was excellent in his final 4 innings of work, lasted 6 last night. 9-out save from Cole Clark. And now Eddy has been nearly untouchable. That's smashed up the middle, but on a rope and waiting for it, Kadama. 1-out single for Tiroli, but a couple of strikeouts and a line out for Harris. And Gavin Eddy is through 6 innings, keeping the shutout against these Hoos. 1-0 count. Precision from Payon on this Saturday afternoon from the dish. John with back-to-back strikeouts there in the 6th inning against Prather, Kennedy, and Murillo. And Payon now with 7 strikeouts on the game. 6 innings of just 1-run ball. He has allowed just 2 hits, but right now he's in line for a loss unless his offense can wake up. Payon will take on 4, 5, and 6 here for the Bears, starting off with Lawson Olmstead. 0 for 2. Lawson flied out to center his last time up. Neither bullpen all too active right now. .75 pitches thus far for John Payon through 6 innings of work, and 78 pitches for Gavin Eddy. Old school pitcher showdown here in Charlottesville. We've seen some eye-popping offensive numbers throughout the conference this weekend. This game bucks that trend. Fly ball to the right side. Foul ground. Parada makes the call. No one's near him anyway. And he's got the ball. 1 out. 6 consecutive retired by Payon, with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Olmstead pops up to the first baseman for the 2nd time today. He's now 0 for 3. And now Carl Schmidt, who has really been the only thorn in Payon's side today. Solo homer to the opposite field in the 2nd inning of this game. His 9th homer on the season, 14th RBI. Payon facing a very right-handed heavy hitting lineup for the Bears. Holmes charges and makes the throw on the run. 2 outs. 7 straight set down by Payon. Every defensive play that R.J. Holmes makes, it's got to boost his confidence. Natural shortstop growing up, so he knows he's capable. It's not like he's new to this position. He's new doing it with, I'm sure, this many people watching. Liner right to Holmes. Snow cones it for the final out here in the 7th as Cade Campbell drops to 0 for 3. RJ, bit of a smile on his face, and it's time to stretch here at the dish. 1-0 Cal over Virginia. Fans all stretched out and ready to roll here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. They're hoping they have something to cheer about moving forward, as the host Hoos have only put up 2 hits in the ball game, being shut out right now by Gavin Eddy, who has recorded a career high 12 strikeouts in this ball game, just 78 pitches through 6, and continues on against Jake Weatherspoon and induces a ground ball. Kennedy makes the throw. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th. It was John Payon who only needed 4 pitches to retire 3 in the top half of the inning. And now 1 pitch, 1 out for Eddy here in the bottom half. Weatherspoon now 0 for 3 on the game. So that'll bring up Kyle Johnson now for Virginia. Johnson has struck out twice today. one of 3 Who's who has struck out multiple times in this game. Gracia has struck out 3 times. Didowick has struck out 3 times. In fact, it's actually 4 Cavaliers who've struck out multiple times. Sam Harris with a couple of strikeouts in the game today. The 1-0 from Eddie rises too high, and it's 2-0. A rare advantageous count for a Who hitter in this game. This Virginia team would love to hop back into a time machine and recreate the offense they had in the month of March. 2-0, outside 3-0. With Antonio Parada on deck for the Who's. No activity in either bullpen right now, and as a former big league pitcher in Mike New would know, no interest in taking out Eddie right now. 3-0 delivers inside, ball 4. Second walk given up by Eddie in this game. He also hit R.J. Holmes with a pitch in the 3rd inning. And the Cavaliers have a 1-out base runner for the 3rd consecutive inning. Let's find out if they can do something with it. Virginia has left 4 on base today. Cal has only left 2. Here's Antonio Parada for Virginia. 5 home runs in his career in a limited sample size. Only 21 at-bats his first 2 seasons. 80 at-bats coming into today, his junior season. Parada lets it go. Outside corner, strike 1. Tone can certainly turn on one. But I'm sure Coach Pollard would like to see his team just continue their approach that has worked pretty well for the most part this season. Not necessarily looking for the home run ball. The 0-1. And Parada fouls it off. Decent swing there. No balls and 2 strikes. Virginia playing without Eric Becker for the 11th consecutive game. And the Who's offense has gone stale since inning 2 of yesterday's game. Eddie offers up the 0-2. Upstairs 1-2. R.J. Holmes waiting his turn on deck for Virginia. When leading at the end of 6, the Bears are 23-2 this season. They get these next 2 outs and hold the lead. They haven't lost a game, and they've led at the end of 8. So they need 5 more outs to accomplish that. Ball and 2 strikes. Once again, the count to Parada. A Cal pitching staff that entered today 4th best in the ACC in ERA, holding teams to a .251 batting average. Virginia had 7 hits last night. Parada goes the opposite way. That'll dunk in for a base hit. Schmidt chases after it. Johnson rounds second, heads to third. Parada slides into second, and the Cavaliers have 2 in scoring position here with 1 out. That's the first extra base hit for the Cavaliers this afternoon. Antonio Parada with his 5th double on the season. Great awareness from Johnson, knowing that would land in the outfield. As Parada takes the outside pitch, brings it to the opposite field. Good hustle out of the box. And now a base hit away from Virginia taking a 2-1 lead. So let's find out how Gavin Eddy works himself out of trouble for really the 2nd time today. Allowed the first 2 to reach base in the 3rd, got the next 3 out. Let's see what he does here against R.J. Holmes. Cal with 3 guys on the left side of the infield. The first baseman Murillo playing in. Holmes goes after one for strike 1. Wanted to place that one on the face-off dot over at Klockner Stadium with that swing. Holmes has 2 home runs this season, against Wagner in February, against Stetson in February. It's been a long time since he's left the ballpark. Eddie's 0-1. Strike 2. And you can hear the yeahs from the Bears dugout. A dozen strikeouts today for Gavin Eddy. Holmes 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Here's the 0-2. Holmes hunts it and fouls it off. RJ seeking his first Kodak moment as a Cav. 14 consecutive starts. 16 starts on the season now. Johnson dances down the line at third. 13 strikeouts now for Eddie. Absolutely freezes R.J. Holmes. And now 2 out of the inning. Now Chris Pollard will try to take Eddie out of his rhythm and have a conversation with Murray just outside of the batter's box. Huge spot in this game. Murray 0 for 1 with a sac bunt his first time up in the third. Ground ball foul. Murray has been slightly a better hitter with 2 outs this season. Lifts this one in foul ground, right side. Murillo runs out of room. 196 hitter with 2 outs this season. In total, Murray coming into today at 167. Virginia fans making their voices heard right now, looking to inspire a group that has only scored 4 runs in this series. The 0-2 to Murray, way too tall as the adrenaline pumps up there for Eddie. 1-2. Inning started with a Weatherspoon ground out to short. Johnson walked. Parada with a double, the first extra base hit for the Who's. Holmes struck out looking. Now the 1-2. Murray swings and misses, strike 3. Drop third strike. Tag applied at the plate. No, it's too late. And Virginia ties the game. Johnson, like Superman, gets to the plate. And the game is deadlocked at 1. So on the 14th strikeout of the day for Gavin Eddie, the hustle from Johnson to get down the line. Prather decided to go for the tag instead of throwing down to first, but you know, Murray was jetting over there, and you can see how much it means to KJ. Virginia had been held scoreless for 13 consecutive innings. And finally, they break the ice in the most unconventional way. Now Virginia begins its 4th tour through the order. A.J. Gracia, who has struck out 3 times. Chris Pollard calls for time. And he is pointing over at first base. Let's go, I believe there is something behind the bag that made its way onto the field here. Oh, there was an extra baseball. We were thinking about this. Cal had not had, still doesn't have, a complete game shutout since 2012. Justin Jones had one against Washington State. Popped up, shallow center. Catch made by Kennedy, and the inning is done. But the Cavaliers tie the game after Gavin Eddie struck out his 14th Cavalier of the day. Dropped third strike, Murray reaching base, Kyle Johnson scampering to the plate, and it's a 1-1 game at the end of 7 here at Disharoon Park. Virginia and Cal's second game of the series after the Bears won last night 7-4. All the action right here on ACC Network Extra. Cavaliers tie the game in one of the more stranger ways you'll see. A drop third strike, Kyle Johnson rushing to the plate. 1-1 game at the end of 7. We head to the 8th here in Charlottesville. John Payon will throw a pitch in the 8th inning for the first time in his collegiate career. In fact, the longest outing he's had this year was 6 innings against VCU prior to today. That was on March 1st as he held the Rams scoreless. Eventually a 5-3 win for Virginia to start the month of March. So in this 8th inning, bottom 3 in the order for the Bears, beginning with Brady Ereckart. 0 for 2, reached on an error by the shortstop Holmes his last time up in the 5th. 79 pitches for Payon through 7, needed just 4 to get 3 outs in the last inning. The 0-1 to Ereckart, drops down a bunt, but its spin takes it foul. 0-2. Ereckart looking for his first hit since the Pacific game on Tuesday. Bears won that game a tight one, 2-1. Virginia with some action in the bullpen right now. That's Tyler Kappa getting loose, the closer for the Hoos. He did not throw yesterday. Kappa would be making his 21st appearance. Leads Virginia with 11 saves this season, one of the best bullpen arms in the country. No balls and 2 strikes. Payon steadies himself and now deals. Weatherspoon tried to frame it, but it was too high. And it's 1-2. Ereckart, Kadama, and Snyder, if that stays intact for head coach Mike New here in the 8th. One-two delivery. Swing and a miss. 8 strikeouts now for John Payon. Both pitchers with career highs in strikeouts today. Payon with 8 and Eddie with 14. Cal getting some arms loose. Now Kadama, who has struck out twice. Cade Columbar is the one getting loose for Cal. And Eddie made his way down to the bullpen too, so that might be it for Gavin today. No balls and 2 strikes now, the count to Ethan Kadama. Redshirt sophomore from West Hills, California in San Fernando Valley. Looking for his first hit of the series, now 0 for 5. He has now struck out 4 times in this series. It was in this inning yesterday. He struck out on a pitch clock violation. The Bears won a similarly tight game back on Tuesday, looking to replicate that here this afternoon. The 0-2, Kadama, broke the wrists. 9 strikeouts for John Payon. Previous career high was 7 punch-outs against Clemson on the 18th of April. So Payon 1 strikeout away from striking out the side for the 2nd time today. He did that back in the 6th. Here's Snyder, 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts today. The Bears have only put up 2 hits on the scoreboard. The home run from Carl Schmidt in the 2nd, and then an infield single in the 3rd. The Bears have only had 1 base runner since, as Ereckart reached on an E6 in the 5th. That misses a bit outside, and it's 2-0. 95 miles per hour on the fastball here in the 8th. Not overly warm today, in the low 70s at first pitch. A little bit windy before the first pitch of today's game, but that has calmed down. Haven't seen that play much of a factor. Not too many fly balls in this game. 2-0. That's in there for a strike, 2-1. Yeah, Snyder's like, don't like that. Sarcastic smile on his face. Wichita State transfer, 2 years with the Shockers, hit .252 last season. 2-1. Well, Payon has been attacking that outside corner, doesn't get the call there, and it's now 3-1. If the inning were to continue, Hideki Prather stands on deck. A win today for Virginia. The Cavs are back to 500 in the league. 3-1 upstairs, ball 4. It's the first batter Payon has walked in today's game. Payon entered today walking just 19 and 43 2/3. So a 2-out base runner here for the Bears. Cal has only left 2 on base today because of their small amount of hits. Time is called here as Virginia's pitching coach Brady Kirkpatrick comes out for the first time. Kirkpatrick spending the past 3 seasons with Coach Pollard at Duke. As Payon walks off the mound, and they're going to make the pitching change for the first time today. So Tyler Kappa will come into the ball game here with 2 outs in the top half of the 8th inning. Virginia and Cal tied at 1. We'll be right back here on ACC Network Extra. Thunderous ovation for John Payon as he exited the ball game. 7 2/3. He's allowed just 1 run on 2 hits, 1 walk, a career high 9 strikeouts, 92 pitches today for Payon, his career long in terms of a duration of a start. He is responsible though for the man at first base after walking Snyder. And now Tyler Kappa comes on, the normal closer for the Hoos. 11 saves on the season. 21st appearance out of the bullpen, a record of 1-2. Microscopic ERA at 1.42 in 25 1/3 innings of work this season. 9 walks to just 32 strikeouts. Saves in 4 of his last 5 appearances, but not a save situation here in a tie game at 1. As he comes on with 2 out in the top half of the 8th inning, and he faces Hideki Prather at the top of the order. Prather 1 for 3 with an infield single back in inning 3. Takes a first pitch strike from Kappa. Coach Pollard earlier this season describing Tyler's stuff as lights out, wipeout stuff. Calls it a unicorn fastball, 95 miles per hour, but with high vert on a low release. This time Prather beats him, and Hideki with a base hit. Now multiple hits in each of the first 2 games of this series, as Snyder advances to second here with 2 outs. So Prather now 2 for 4 on the ball game, and that sends Jack Kennedy to the plate, looking to extend his 9-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 3. Kappa has only given up 4 earned runs in those 25 1/3 innings of work, the transfer from Eastern Michigan. He was a starter with the Eagles last season, made 14 starts, but in the bullpen for the Cavs the entirety of this season. Check it first. Matthew Schaefer says no swing. Fans don't like it. You can hear the grunts, the disapprovals. All in, no strikes here to Kennedy. Jet has been a first-year phenom for this Bears program, entering today with a .343 batting average. Takes a strike there, and it's 1-1. Kennedy has had 7 games this season with at least 3 hits, including a 4-hit game at Boston College back on the 21st of March. Took a changeup up in the zone for a solo homer in yesterday's game in the first inning. His 9th on the season. Freshman ahead in the count here, 2-1 against one of the veterans in collegiate baseball, and Tyler Kappa, National Stopper of the Year semifinalist. 5th different college for Kappa. 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Kappa began at Division III Alma College in Michigan, then went to Mott Community College, D2 Davenport, then Eastern Michigan. His first time outside the state of Michigan here in the Commonwealth. 2 on with 2 out in a 1-1 game. 2-2 pitch from Kappa to Kennedy. Here it is. It's a ground ball up the middle. Tiroli has it played perfectly. Stumps on the bag for the final out of the 8th. So Kappa comes on, allows the single to Prather, but gets Kennedy on the fielder's choice. And it stays 1-1. Virginia a chance to take the lead when we return on ACC Network Extra. Just 2 runs combined on the scoreboard today, but boy, this game's been a lot of fun. 2 gems, Gavin Eddy and John Payon, and both starting pitchers have now departed. Eddy done after 7 innings of just 1-run ball, and now Cal turns to Cade Columbara, the freshman right-hander from Woodland, California, just outside of Sacramento. Leads the team in ERA this season at 2.50, his 18th appearance out of the bullpen this season. Fastball, changeup, curveball, slider in his arsenal. 18 innings of work. He's given up just 5 earned runs. Opponents hitting .284 against Columbara this season. Columbara comes in with 7 consecutive scoreless outings across 6 innings of work. He has not given up runs since April 15th against San Jose State, when he allowed 2. Just 1 of those was earned. In fact, 4 of his 5 earned runs this season were against one opponent. That was against UConn in mid-March. For the Hoos, it's Tiroli, Didowick, and Harris in the home half of inning 8. Tiroli singled his last time up, missiles one to short. Kennedy says he caught the ball, but just in case, he'll throw it to first. The second base umpire, Ryan Clark, said that, yeah, Kennedy did catch it on a fly, so it goes down as an L6 if you're scoring at home. 1 away. This guy excels on both sides of the baseball. Now Harrison Didowick, who's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. A career high 14 strikeouts for Gavin Eddy today. First pitch misses the outside corner for ball 1. 97 pitches for Eddy, 63 for strikes, faced 28, walked 2, allowed just 3 hits. Bears also have just 3 hits today. Columbara's 1-0 will make its way to the backstop, 2-0. Cavaliers tied the game in the bottom half of the 7th inning with Noah Murray at the plate. Dropped third strike. That was the 14th strikeout for Eddy today, but it resulted in a run as Kyle Johnson scooted to the plate down the third baseline. Columbara's 2-0 is on the way. Didowick flies one foul to the opposite field. Didowick hit an opposite field home run in the doubleheader against Radford back on Sunday. That's one of the adjustments Coach Pollard has wanted to see his team make in general over the last couple of weeks. Said towards the back half of April, his team was just rolling the ball over on the pull side way too often. Didowick, a guy we have seen throughout his career, can spray it to all fields. Inside 3-1. 2 seasons ago, Didowick, a second-team All-ACC selection, led the club with 23 home runs, tied Jake Geloff's 2023 single-season program record. 3-1 to Didowick. Swing and a miss out in front of that. And it's 3-2. Fastball for Columbara, 91-93. Then he's got that nice changeup. Phone's ringing. And we're ready for the payoff pitch. Didowick elects not to swing, and that's ball 4. So the Cavaliers have a 1-out base runner. Harris 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Lined out to center field his last time up. 10-game hitting streak in jeopardy. No changes defensively for the Bears. Prather still catching. Schmidt, Kadama, and Snyder in the outfield. Campbell, Kennedy, Ericard, and Murillo on the infield. Cades 1-0. Low and inside 2-0. And these fans can start to sniff something here. Time is called here as the Bears will regroup. Chris Bodishbaugh is the pitching coach for Cal. Pitched in the Marlins and White Sox minor league organizations after graduating from Chicago State. 4th season now with the Bears under Mike New's leadership. Coach New is actually the pitching coach for Cal for 4 seasons under David Esker, who's now the head coach over at Stanford. New left Cal, left Berkeley, went to nearby Pacific for 2 seasons, was the head coach there from 2016 to 2017, and has been with the Bears program since July of 17. Brought the Bears to a regional one time. That was back in 2019. The most wins for the Bears under Coach New was 2 seasons ago with 34. They have 26 this season through 49. Game 50 for both squads today. Virginia trying to bounce back after a 7-4 defeat at the hands of Cal last night. Columbara has recollected himself. Ground ball off his leg. Columbara slings it to short, over the glove. And Didowick will head to third. What could have been 2 outs ends up becoming none. So Harris stings the leg of Columbara, and Cade's throw went awry. That ball had a lot of heat, and it was certainly in the radius of Kennedy, but just could not react in time to haul it in. So now runners on the corners here with 1 out for Jake Weatherspoon. Swings, ground ball to third, could be two, throw to second for one, that's all they'll get. As Didowick comes in to score, Weatherspoon puts the ball in play and puts Virginia in the lead 2-1. We've seen the Cavaliers be very aggressive early in counts today. And it pays off that time for Weatherspoon. Now the umpires will go take a look at this. Perhaps to see if the slide was out of the base path from Sam Harris. If everything stands, Weatherspoon gets credited with an RBI, his 25th on the season, as Didowick came in to score. Our umpires today, John Byrne, Matthew Schaefer, Ryan Clark, and the crew chief, Travis Carlson. That was the play that allowed Didowick to get down to third on the throwing error from Cade Columbara. The initial ruling, nothing erroneous on the slide there from Sam Harris at second base. Again, the umpires must have a conclusive look to overturn any call they see on the field. Perhaps they also might be looking at if the foot of the Cal player was on the second base bag when the throw came in, which could result in Harris being safe at second if the foot were not on the bag. So that's something else to consider here. All right, so the umpires have made their decision. So no interference on the base paths there. They stay with the call on the field, which was out at second base. So Sam Harris is retired there, and the fielder's choice by Weatherspoon gets an RBI. Virginia leads now 2-1. There's another look at the slide. Nothing seems unconventional there from Harris. Seemed like he stayed in the baseline there. So with a runner at first base and Weatherspoon, 2 out. Now Kyle Johnson steps in. Virginia with a run in back-to-back innings now. Johnson lashes one foul. Johnson walked and scored in the 7th inning to tie the ball game for the Hoos. If everything stands and Virginia records the final 3 outs, it would be the Cavaliers' 18th come-from-behind victory out of then 33 on the season. So more than half their wins when they've trailed. Johnson, a very vertical stance, the 0-1. Wave and a miss, and it's 0-2. Johnson has struck out twice today. He'll start for the Cavaliers on the bump tomorrow. 1 o'clock start. We'll have it for you on ACC Network Extra. At 10 o'clock for our friends out in Berkeley. Columbara just trying to get out of this inning. Give his team a chance. 1-2. The Bears will have 3, 4, and 5 for the batting order in the 9th. Murillo, Olmstead, and Schmidt. Those 3 have only combined for 1 hit today. That was the home run from Schmidt way back in the 2nd. One-two from Columbara. And Johnson chases outside the zone for strike 3. So Columbara gets the final out here in the 8th. But Virginia takes the lead on a walk from Harrison Didowick with 1 out. He journeys his way to third base on a throwing error from Colombara, and eventually Weatherspoon on a fielder's choice. The go-ahead RBI. Virginia 2, Cal 1. We go to the ninth. The Hoos look to shut it down with Kappa on the bump. You're on ACC Network Extra. Couple of defensive changes for the Cavaliers as we go to the ninth inning. Zach Jackson comes in to play in right field, and Sam Harris, who was playing in right, heads to first base, replacing Antonio Parada. Cavaliers lead 2-1 thanks to a go-ahead RBI on a fielder's choice from Jake Weatherspoon in the bottom half of the eighth inning. And Tyler Kappa tries to complete what would be a masterful win for UVA in terms of perseverance. Fly ball foul to the seats off the bat of Daniel Murillo here. No balls and a strike. Murillo, Olmstead, and Schmidt in the top half of the ninth. Tyler Kappa came on to get the final out of the eighth inning for Virginia after John Payon went 7 2/3. He'll get a no decision today. Kappa in line to get the victory. Tyler has had just one win this season. Again, he is the normal closer for the Hoos. Count is now 0-2 as Murillo fouls it off to the screen. Cade Colombara would be in line for the loss. Gavin Eddy, 7 spectacular innings, giving up just 1 run on a drop third strike. 0-2 from Kappa. Just misses the outside corner. Cavaliers fans ready to erupt. 1-2. Virginia has not won a game this season when scoring 2 or fewer runs. Cavaliers are 0-6 when they score 2 or fewer. In fact, they haven't won a game when they've only won once when they've scored 3 or fewer. 1-2. Softly out to shallow right center. Jackson running in, can't make the catch. Couple of hops in front of him. He was playing very deep. And so the Bears have a leadoff single with Daniel Murillo. Just the 4th hit of the ball game for the Bears. Cal has the tying run on base and the go-ahead run at the plate. And they'll use a pinch hitter here. It's Taichi Nakao. Graduate student who has made 8 starts this season, 13 appearances before today, 7 for 29. Nakao squares to bunt, pops it up. Kappa makes the call. Kappa makes the catch. Lack of execution there for the Bears, and Nakao must have been called there for 8+ innings. His number gets called, and he can't place down the bunt. So Murillo remains at first. That's a failed sacrifice attempt for Nakao. And now Carl Schmitz. A home run back in the second inning of this ball game, his 9th on the season, his first since April 28th. First pitch strike here from Kappa. Couple of other scores to make you aware of. Miami over Louisville 10-8. Georgia Tech wins 15-2 and 7, run ruling Duke. The heat from Kappa beats Carl Schmidt, and it's 0-2. Notre Dame a winner over Oakland 15-5. Virginia Tech trails UNCG 16-10 in the 8th inning. Here in the 9th with 1 out, Virginia leads by 1. The 0-2 from Kappa. Schmidt fouls it off. Cade Campbell on deck. A Bears group that comes in very shorthanded. Cal playing without Jacob French, their everyday second baseman, hasn't played over the last 8 games. .344 hitter. No Josh Hansen, their normal center fielder. The 0-2. Outside corner, strike 3. Kappa disposes of Schmitz. 2 out in the inning. So the Bears are down to their final out. Campbell, who's 0 for 3. Murillo tied for the team lead with 8 stolen bases at first. Something to consider here. A ball and no strikes to Campbell. Cade, one of the few veterans on this team, a senior who has spent all 4 seasons with Cal. The 1-0 from Kappa. Low and inside, 2-0. Brady Ericard on deck if the game were to continue. Virginia vying for its 13th ACC win on the season, looking to get back to 500 in the league and looking to even up this series at a game a pop. The 2-0 from Kappa. Buckle your chin strap. 3-0. Don't want to put a man in scoring position here. How about R.J. Holmes here? The true freshman, a shortstop, makes his way to the mound to help out a 5th-year senior in Tyler Kappa. I think that's something Coach Pollard's going to notice, and something that he's going to remember moving forward if Virginia holds on here. Great exhibit of leadership there from a youngster. Let's see if those words calm down Tyler here. 3-0 pitch. Yep, 3-1. The inning started with Murillo lifting a ball into shallow right for a single. Taichi Nakao could not get a sac bunt down, popped up. Schmidt struck out looking. 3-1 to Campbell. Ball 4. And the game-tying run standing at second base now for the Bears. And the go-ahead run at first. So Campbell reaches base for the first time today. Murillo at second. And once again, Virginia's outfield playing pretty deep here. No doubles defense here with 2 outs. And it's Brady Ericard. 30 at-bats on the season for Ericard. Maybe the biggest spot in his freshman year. First pitch strike given out by Kappa. Rowley, the second baseman, backing up onto the grass. The 0-1 misses outside, 1-1. Virginia also looking for its 14th win this season when the opposition scores first. A homer by Schmidt in the second. That's the only offense for the Bears today. The 1-1 from Kappa. Fans displeased. 2-1. Ericard struck out his last time up. 0 for 3 today, reached on an E6 in the 5th. Just his 8th collegiate start. Had 5 hits in the Virginia Tech series last weekend. High chopper to third. Murray Fields slings it on the run. Harris the scoop, and the ball game is over. A come-from-behind victory for Virginia as the Cavaliers grind out a 2-1 victory over Cal. to even up the series at a game apiece. In an old school pitchers duel, Payon beats Eddie. 7 2/3 for John Payon, gave up just 1 run, a career high 9 strikeouts. Eddie had a career high 14, but Tyler Kappa gets the job done in the bullpen, gets the victory an inning and a third, and Virginia improves to 33-17 on the season, evens up its conference record at 13-13. The Bears, meanwhile, drop to 26-24. Their 3-game winning streak is done, 9-17 in league play. Virginia gets the game-tying run in the 7th inning on a drop third strike. Kyle Johnson rushes to the plate to score, and then the Cavs take the lead in the 8th on an RBI on a fielder's choice from Jake Weatherspoon. Harrison Didowick coming in to score after a costly error from Cade Columbara, who gets handed the loss today. Virginia a 2-1 winner, and the Cavaliers win this pitchers duel here from Charlottesville. A reminder that Game 3 tomorrow will be at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Senior Day festivities prior to the game. We'll also celebrate Mother's Day together. We'll have all the coverage for you right here on ACC Network Extra. A combined 7 hits in this ball game. Virginia only had 3. Don't matter though, the Cavs have the dub, 2-1 over the Cal Bears. Thanks to our entire crew here in Charlottesville. Corey Spector signing off here on ACC Network Extra. 2-1, Virginia a winner over Cal. Have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon into the evening, everyone.